Xbox isn't done with cost cutting.
But it's the developers that are paying the biggest price.
Let's talk about it. And I wish we didn't, because we have to talk about it all the time.
It's like the third week in a row, almost.
I don't even know how to start this one. I mean, all layoffs, all studio closures are terrible. I have such an affinity to Arkane games that I was super shocked and just bummed out the whole day.
The Lyon studio is still there, but the Austin studio, which I don't think many people realize had a pretty big part to play in Dishonored and obviously Prey as well. So it is a huge hit for them. But that studio, along with Tango, along with Roundhouse, along with Alpha Dog. Roundhouse and Alpha Dog aren't as much well known, but Roundhouse is getting folded into ZeniMax Online, I believe. Alpha Dog was the Doom mobile game team. Which was pretty decent apparently.
Already yanked.
Much of it. Yeah, and it's gone now.
You let go of 1,900 people earlier in the year, and then you have all of these comments about Game Pass growth is stagnating, how, there's allegedly conversations being had about putting card on Game Pass, trying to incentivize people to buy into the subscription thing. But it's also, you've spent 69 billion on Activision Blizzard. You spent however many other billions it was to acquire ZeniMax a few years ago.
So the phrase that I think is most appropriate here is like, what are we doing here? And I think that stems from a frustration about not really understanding what is going on anymore.
For context, we're shooting this on Thursday. As of right now, nothing has been publicly said by Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, Sarah Bond, or anyone about these studio closures. And we're getting these reports of a town hall where Matt Booty said something along the lines of, we need games like Hi-Fi Rush.
The fact that you laid off the team that made Hi-Fi Rush and then also are saying
3 weeks after they
Rush.
got a BAFTA.
Yeah, and saying that we need more Hi-Fi Rushes and we need award-winning small games. It feels like the left hand is not talking to the right hand, and also no one knows what they're doing or what they're saying. Like, this is the first time we've seen in a while just the Xbox brand and strategy feel like it's in complete disarray. Like, no one knows. It's hard to look at it and be like, oh, we see the strategy, here is this.
Imagine if you are one of those studios who got swept up by Xbox a few years ago to round out their first party portfolio. Wow, good to know that potentially we're going to get shoved under the bus as soon as anything kind of goes wrong.
I mean,
we're the disposable ones. That must suck. And it's like, you get brought into this multi-billion-dollar corporation for them to invest in you, for them to give you resources, for you to like be able to experiment and take risks on things, and then just the way that this has all been handled just leaves a really bad taste in my mouth.
It's like not a good thing to think about, and it's not a productive thing to think about, and you do your best to not think about it, but the issue is it's now looming. And the lack of clarity around what constitutes a success is so unclear right now. Pretty much everywhere. Like, we've had some of this like Square Enix, where they're like, this sold X million copies. Major disappointment. I don't know how best to describe it, but like, it's one of those moments where you look back at all the stuff that people have said publicly, and you're like, you are on record saying stuff like, we bought a studio so we can, nurture the talent and give them the breathing room.
You're talking about that Sarah Bond Lionhead thing.
That one. And also, like, Phil said similar things where it was like, our goal is to buy these studios and then use the fact that we have money and like safety and like all this kind of stuff, the safety it provides, to ensure those studios don't have to worry about things. They can focus on creativity and give us the games that we know that they can make. And then it's like, you said that, but the things that you're doing, the business realities are now making you look weird. I guess the other thing that was a big part of the discussion is like, what does this mean for Game Pass?
The Microsoft financials, basically the only meaningful growth came because of the acquisition of Activision Blizzard.
And as a business thing, if it's not growing, it starts to look a bit shifty, and
especially when you just spent 69 bill.
And I just don't know what they put in there now. Like, are you gonna rely on the big studios to also make games that, because big games take a long time? Who's going to make those small games that take potentially less time? I know like Hi-Fi Rush was like 4 or 5 years anyway, but like, who's going to make those smaller games? I hit up Jeff Grubb and I asked him, like, what do you think these closures mean for Game Pass and the future and the business model? And I'll read a quote that he sent me, and he said, a lot of what is happening with Xbox right now comes down to the stagnation in Xbox's growth. The company was definitely trading retail and digital full game sales for growth of its subscription service for years, but it has saturated the market. Everyone who wants Game Pass already has it. So now Xbox is not getting much in return for missing out on game sales. This is why everything the company is doing right now is signaling that it's looking for ways to supplement its revenue. And that very likely means de-emphasizing of Game Pass in favor of more multi-platform releases.
You know what the biggest selling game on PSN was the last month?
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, baby.
And like, this is the thing where I think Jeff is 100% on the right line there, where it's like, expect to see Xbox games going everywhere in the similar way to Sony's games coming to a PC as well as PlayStation. So the democratization of game releases is imminent, and especially for Xbox, and it's gonna be like pulling teeth for the next few years as this like spins up, because people are still very, very attached to exclusivities and exclusives. But I think there needs to be a come to Spencer moment where it's like, hey, we have to do this. This is the only thing we can do right now. Otherwise, we're in trouble. And you would rather have these games somewhere as opposed to not existing entirely. But it's going to be an interesting time. I think that it's going to be interesting to see what happens at Summer Game Fest.
I was going to say we're about a month out from Xbox's showcase at Summer Game Fest, 2 weeks out from the release of Hellblade 2. We've got Avowed this year, Ara this year, Indiana Jones, and Starfield DLC. So it's like, on paper, this should be a really good year for Xbox.
There's a really good quote from Dinga Bakaba,
yeah,
who is at Arkane.
Yeah, Arkane
Leon, he did a thread about basically saying these people are the lifeblood of your company. Your entertainment companies, the creative people are the lifeblood of your company. You should be protecting them. And he's done a nice little breakdown of why this is so sad, and I recommend everyone go and check it out.
I was gonna say I would recommend people go and look at Harvey Smith's Twitter, because similarly. Harvey's been kind of going through memories of Arkane when they were founding the studio, all the way up through to the last day in the studio, and it's like, it's heartbreaking.
It is rough.
And you know, Tam and I, we're huge Arkane fans.
Yeah,
Redfall did not hit.
Did you see that? I just remembered. I tried to block it out, but there was a report that before this happened, Arkane was pitching a new immersive sim.
Yep. No,
and I've never been so mad, so angry at a decision than that.
It sucks for everyone at those 4 studios and everyone in game development who has lost their jobs over the last 18 months. Is that where we're at right now?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
It sucks out there.
But maybe a Summer Game Fest will kind of relight the fire and bring the passion back to a degree.
Well, to bring not a silver lining, not a nice way to end the episode, but I did just kind of want to highlight that, like, there have been some incredible game releases recently.
Yeah, some like
vote with your wallet kind of stuff. Support those devs. Like, I have been playing and enjoying Animal Well.
Animal's great. Hades 2 is out there.
Hades 2 is out.
Indica's great.
Oh, Indica's fantastic. Play Indica.
There's that idle game that I started playing.
Oh, Rusty's Retirement.
Yeah, that's.
If you were in a meeting with me yesterday and I seemed distracted, that is absolutely why. Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff. Crow Country is out. Yeah, came out. Gonna be, everything kind of dropped this week as well, and so I definitely wanted to call it out because there were some really great games
being made outside of the corporate behemoths.
And yeah.
Anyways,
that's not a great way to end this episode, so I'm just gonna be like, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
I'm gonna go play Prey again.
Yeah.
I'll do Mooncrash, man.
Mooncrash is great.
We want to deliver a quick message about Red Nose Day. Red Nose Day believes less childhood poverty means more childhood. When kids have all the support they need, they're more free to be their best selves. Donations give kids facing poverty access to more nutritious food, safety, quality education, and so much more. If you believe that every kid should have the opportunity to chase a brighter future, donate today at rednoseday.org.